Hi, hello, this is Gifty. Welcome to Baller Mom Feature. Today, Wednesday, October the 27th, I have another special guest that we will be discussing various things, tips for, athletes that have other skills, that you still love sports, but other things that you can do to help you, expand your knowledge, expand your skills, and the guys I have is well known within the Toronto, Canada sports basketball world, and he's well respected. He's well known. He will share his experience, his knowledge, and tips that we can all learn from it. In addition to raising athletes, in addition to yourself, especially the athletes that we'll be watching later, what you can do if you're interested, and you can also always connect with them. So allow me to add in introduce himself. But Brother Erue is going to be joining us shortly, and he will share his story. So here he is. Hello, how are you? Good evening.
Hi, how are you? Good to
I'm
see you.
good. How's your day going?
Oh, not bad at all. Just another great day in COVID. You just doing work and working
Another day
hopefully
in COVID. Yep, it's so
every day.
true. We're chugging along, as I say. It is like always, every single day is something different. So especially with the weather, yeah, today was hot, so I can't complain.
Yeah, you could walk with your shorts on and what have you. It was a good day.
Yeah, and who knows what tomorrow is going to be? Honestly, it's so unpredictable. It's ridiculous. Oh well, but I wanted to say thank you for accepting to come here and share your knowledge and your experience within both the sports world, the digital media world, the content creation world. For anyone that love the sports but also have other specialized skills or looking to gain other skills, and how they can combine the two together and still be a holistic person. So without any further ado, I'd like you to introduce yourself. Who is Mr. Erue White, or Coach Erue, or Coach White?
Yeah, definitely. I mostly go by Coach Erue, and most of the kids know me that way. I actively do coach basketball in the
Mm-hmm.
GTA under motion basketball, and then the other side of me would be the media side in terms of like videotaping, taking pictures at tournaments. Where my teams are involved in, other teams are involved in. If I'm at a tournament, I'm definitely this initiative started by just trying to promote the kids that I'm coaching, or my son was actually playing at the time, and
Mm-hmm.
we promoted our age group. I found that a lot of people weren't doing that, or just like getting the kids pumped up about playing sports. You know what I mean? Or just
Yeah.
pumped up about no one knows when a kid that's 9 years old scores 10 points or gets a game winner. There was a hole for a little while. I was by myself doing it, and then it became something more to me, and then people leverage me for having a lot of cameras. It just the guy with the equipment becomes the guy you use, and then you become that guy, and then it kind of fit into now where I do a lot websites, flyers, logos for clubs. A lot of clubs I've done their logos. People don't know, but a lot of the look because we needed that look for basketball. Yeah.
Yes. So thank you. And for those that will watch, that have their own sports team, or they have their training or their coaching that they're doing on the side, and you're trying to figure it out. Is it John A coaching, and you're trying to make it into a brand? And if you're looking for someone to help you get that visual aspect of it, in terms of your logo, how it represents you, I guess you're the one person that they can reach out to help get that
A
concept out,
hundred,
correct?
100%. So basically, what usually happens is a guy starts his training program, is a small business, we want to call it. That's what it is,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a logo, but it's not like the right one. It's the one that they made themselves, or the one they just wanted to put something out. I find that in basketball, people were very, aggressive in putting something out, but maybe we didn't know the first impression is the best one. And a lot of times I'll fix your logo, make it look more commercial, more ready to be seen, or we'll do something brand new from like day one, and get things going, right?
Nice. Okay, so that tells us as to the services that you provide. And you mentioned that you coached before. So when you were younger, did you also play sports? And if you did, what was the sport?
Yeah, so I played every sport. I played hockey first. up until I was in grade 9 or 10. And
Okay.
then I played basketball. I started basketball in grade 9, and it took off in terms of just loving the game and migrating from hockey to basketball based on that first like initial high school experience. And then
Okay.
I think I made my high school team first, and then some girls actually put me onto basketball that were playing rep, but I had no concept that there was boys rep basketball. I didn't know anything about
Oh,
it.
really? Okay.
Back then, it wasn't as big a deal. Like, I'm old enough to tell you, when I came up, only Monarchs was the only team in Mississauga. If you didn't make
Wow.
Monarchs, you weren't playing rep. That was it. You didn't make that one team, those 12 guys your age, that was it. So that's kind of how I fell into basketball. And then it just, like I said, it took off from there, becoming a sport you like really love and want to kind of share, right?
Yeah, yeah, and it's a good sport, I must say. It's entertaining, it's fast paced, and I guess the transition from moving from a cold environment to both
Right,
outdoor hardwood floor indoor,
right.
was that an easy transition? Moving from like
Yeah,
say the skates to just runners?
yeah, very easy in terms of the transition from, say, a hockey player to basketball, or even a soccer player to basketball. Is
Hmm.
the other two sports are very well coached in Canada. And then you go to basketball, you're already used to drills, you're already used to being coached, and then you transition kind of easier when you played other sports. So for me, I'd encourage kids to play other team sports, and it adds to your basketball game. If you just play
Hmm.
basketball, honestly, you're missing a part of sport because every sport competes differently. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And then when you
Yeah.
have a mindset from another sport, you put it in basketball. A football guy in a basketball game is a dangerous guy. You know what I mean? But he's aggressive, he's strong, so you don't have to put that in him. Where you just only play basketball, a
Hmm.
lot of times you find yourself putting aggression in kids because they've only played this beautiful game, but they don't understand there's other layers to every game, right?
Every
So
game, exactly. The competition level is different, especially in the team sports too, right? Depending on what position you're playing and what you want to do to be able to win or learn
there
from it.
you go.
Yeah.
Right. So it's, like, I'll give you a last touch on it. Like a contact sport, then to go to basketball, you
Hmm.
end up enjoying basketball more because no one can hit you, but you're actually prepared for it. Like, you know what I
Okay.
mean?
Okay.
Whereas when you only ever play basketball, it's non-contact sport, and when people hit you, you see those guys act up and like they're like, oh, like people run into each other in sports. It's okay. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. 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 I mean, it's meant to be. I mean, as long as you know how to protect yourself, right? That's why the whole contact aspect of it too is. So that's great. And you said you've been coaching for a while, and when you started, especially in the video recording, I mean, for us as parents, we all have our phones. We all have our, some people even have like the tripod that they set up and do the recordings and things like that. You started off doing it for your son because you wanted to record and capture his moments. Now,
Yeah.
do you also get commission to go and record other games and share it with the parents, or are you doing it more for the leagues in case anybody's interested in watching?
So what I was doing at the time initially, it was not for any commission. There was no business of that. Like, it was just
Okay.
you. It's novice. It's young boys. You're watching the game. People want the memory. They want to see the highlight. Or I had a good group of coaches where we were actually filming the games for coaching purposes, just to see how to help the kids as well. But then with like YouTube and everything, you could share the game. People watch the game, or you put it on Facebook. People watch it, and then you start to see
Hmm.
that people gravitate to actually watching. You have a group of people that are really interested in whatever age group they're versing or they're in. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how it started. Now you notice it's changed. A lot of young kids are into it. There's a lot of editing. There's a lot of, I don't compete with those guys because they are now pros in it. Like, the kids follow the guys who are hot in that space, and
Hmm.
there's a definite art and style to what the younger guys do. Where with the PTR league and the motion stuff that I do with my club, we'll
Hmm.
just post the whole game because a parent wants to enjoy the whole game. That,
Yes, we do.
yeah, you want to, because when you're there you're yelling, but now you want to take a moment from a distance and enjoy that.
Exactly. Yeah. So you're not focused on just the highlights and the shots that went in or the moves that people did. Like, it's right from beginning to the end, as if you're watching on a regular TV, a
Right.
Raptors game beginning to the end, with the exception of commercials, I say, right?
Exactly, and there's an appetite for that, and you're seeing it with I think there's some at the Jane and Finch tournament recently. There's a set of boxes that they had from a company that was doing that, and that's what they do. And the parent could actually tune in when they're in their car and watch the
Mm-hmm.
game inside, And that's a great concept. And then, or you could store the game and say, I have the game, watch it whenever you feel like it, and that game has its own energy, right? So that's
Exactly.
that's the beauty of just, sharing the game at the youth level. Yeah.
I like that. And I think that it's great because you doing it means I save memory on my phone, right?
Yeah, there you go. Like, or a better view, or just, what I mean, something that you could share. Like, if someone puts it on YouTube and whatever, then you can share with your whole family at any point and say, hey, just check the
Mm-hmm.
link out. Kevin was playing and he played a nice game. Watch this game. This is a good one, or you know what I mean. And
Yeah.
everybody gets a feel for what you're doing with your son or daughter. And I think it really grew basketball in the GTA big time. Big time.
Yeah. I think it's a great thing. And I know, like you said, you mentioned that it's becoming sort of the new thing or the worldwide thing. People want to see the best of everything. But I like the fact that you still bring it back to the basic, that it's right from beginning to the end. It's not about making one person shine above the other. You're just watching organic game from beginning to the end to see when your child gets called on, when your child gets called off, how the team jives together, and you get a full feel of how that team plays together, right?
Yeah, I get what you just said, and yeah, parents do that. Yeah, that's the downside. Yeah, they audit the games. Like, now that I watch it, he only went in for 2 minutes. What happened there? You might be telling on yourself with the film, but no, it's overall a good thing. Like,
Yeah,
definitely.
it's good. Now on the digital content side again, where you do the flyers, you do the logos, some of the kids that I know, like they are on these other various social medias and all these different apps helps you to make a 15-minute video into 30 seconds video or with
Right.
all these fonts and things like that that goes up into it. Do you teach any of your athletes if they ever show any interest in, getting that skills for themselves? Because for those who are really pushing forward to, get into prep schools or get scouted or anything like that, highlights are often looked at, right? But they're not sure how to go about it. And let's say the game they're playing, you're not able to be there. What are some of the tips that you can tell them? Say, hey, if you're going to record, these are the best apps or these are the things that you can do to help you get a good picture of how your game was.
Yeah, that's a great question. So what coaches are really looking for, they're not really they're looking for a little bit of your highlight tape, but that doesn't everybody can highlight tape.
Mm-hmm.
But you definitely want someone, parent or an adult, to tape the whole game, and you have 3 full game tapes of you playing, because a coach wants to really watch. They want to watch the minutes you play. When are you in the game? When what happens? Like, an augmented video doesn't really do that
Yeah.
unless you're doing 360s, you're flying off the roof, and like that's what the coach wants to see. But most of the time, for most normal players who are under 6'5",
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna want to watch you play and then see you live, or vice versa.
Okay.
What kids can also do is, and I did this for a kid before a long time ago. This guy Brandon Bunbury, I told him to do an individual workout tape, and I'll edit it. And I edited it. He worked out himself, did the drills, speed stuff. I told
Okay.
him what to do, what a coach might want, but by himself. And then he got a lot of looks off that, because at the end of the day, they're picking one player for one position. You know what I mean? So physically, what can you do, and what kind of dexterity do you have? They can see that in the video of you. Plus,
Okay.
obviously,
Okay.
with a full game. You know what I mean?
So it's not
Exactly.
always if you're not able to do a team, especially during COVID when there's so many lockdowns and there was no team game going on. I guess that would be one option that you could have done. Go to school nearby, go to the yard outside, and just do a workout and record it. And that's
Yeah,
a
do a
one
workout.
way.
Yeah, preferably indoors. But yeah, like if you're trying to go to a college coach, it's got to be indoors. Whatever, the environment's got
Okay.
to be similar to where you'd be. But imagine you're a kid, like when we talked initially when we first met. Imagine you're a kid that's just trying to make a rep team or trying to market yourself to a rep team, and there's always coaches looking for players. If you have your little outside tape and you're a guard and you got something to offer, then yeah, definitely put yourself out there and say, hey guys, I'm looking, because honestly, like in this Toronto market, they're always looking. People are
You're
always
always
looking
looking.
for a kid, a good player, someone to add, 10th man, 12th, whatever you want to fit in. There's a chance there with the video. Yep.
I like that. I like that. And when it comes to the creation aspect of it, and I did mention some of the apps because we get bombarded with so many social media, like so many different like right now we're on Instagram, but there is TikTok, there is Facebook, there is Twitter, there is I don't even know what else, Snapchat and all of these things out there. Do you, each one has your own format as to how long a video is or what the content will be. Do you recommend that for each platform, the player sort of tweak it according to how it is, or just have one and try to post it all across?
Yeah, have one under a minute and then have it posted all across.
Okay.
I find that if you're trying to get attention, it's the music and this like maybe a couple of effects, and a lot of these apps have their own in embedded effects that you can pick and choose to if you're trying to make it fun or stylish or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And like I've posted a lot of my ex-players videos just to keep them going because they obviously made it for a reason. They change the music or whatever, and people watch it and they get to know a player. And especially now with, I guess, young kids being able to make money off their likeness, it's now going to be a big thing. It's going to be a very big thing.
Yes.
So popular money.
It's good that you mentioned that, because the whole topic of the NIL, for those who don't know, that's name, image, and likeness, where you have the opportunity to be able to, you know, showcase yourself, not just yourself as an athlete, but who you are based on your name, how people connect with you, and I guess the other term is like, say, the influencer aspect of it. But for someone who has, say, a private account and they post one video per year or something, if any, but they still have that interest to want to get noticed. They still have that interest to want to get support, but they, like I said, they're not sure what to do. Is there something that you do to help them sort of say, if you're going to post just this one time, this is the best way to go in the length of time? Like, you work with them from beginning to the end and say, you know, I'm not really out there, but I just want to get this out there. Can you help me?
Yeah, no, I would definitely advise them on, like, you know, a post strategy if that was what they needed.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, there's obviously who are you trying to get attention from? Which coaches are you trying to at? Which teams are you trying to join? You have your own agenda with the post, like in terms of if you're trying to make a team or just be popular, then there's different for both. And you know,
I like that. I like that. Do you want to make a team, or we want to be popular?
you want to, what's your agenda? Like, why are you posting? Why are you making a video? Why are you, like, guys who getting videos done paid? They paid the videographer to do the edit or whatever, or and then now it's in your hands. What are you gonna do with it? You know, it has value to you. Like, make sure you're sending it to the right places or getting the attention from who you want to get the attention from, right?
I like that. I like that. So be aware of what the final intention is. Don't just post for the sake of posting, because once it's out there, it's out there. And I always say the internet never dies. So even if you delete quickly, it's still out there somewhere. And
someone saved it, and it's not yours anymore.
Yeah.
So that's also a concern for my kids who maybe want to get attention but aren't good enough to. And that's, you got to be very careful with, like, where you're at in the game seeking attention.
Exactly. I like that. So that's in addition to the video aspect of it. What if they want to expand it further and build a whole image for themselves? Do you recommend even having, like, say, a website?
That you're ahead of me on that one, like, because this NIL thing is a big thing. So kids are getting with real marketing companies if they really have that attention to get sponsors prior to get whatever. So you're gonna have to be careful with your brand. Yeah, you'd get a website, you'd get, you know, a logo of yourself or something that represents you, and you start the process so that people can attach to you, and then you can leverage yourself to Pizza or somebody, like, they're gonna attach and now get money through them. So yeah, you'd have to treat yourself like an individual entity, like a business, and start that planning. So with the kids that I coach now, there's a few kids I could see that have marketable appeal.
Okay.
But again, do those parents know that? Do those kids want that? Like, it's very early in this. Like, the younger guys, Mikey Williams and these guys are showing the kids. The kids learn faster than me and you. Trust me. So they're gonna pick up on this thing and, like, oh, okay, now I know what, you know, they're gonna be in the bookstore buying marketing books and, like, how to figure this thing out and what best to do. Yeah. So I definitely can help them on the content creation, being creative, staying relevant, having enough posts if they're trying to run themselves like that, and then go.
I like that. I like that. So for any of those athletes that, you know, you're looking to expand your accessibility in terms of social aspect of it, maybe not so much personal per se, but you want to get to your posts, your videos, or who you are to the right path or the right people, and you're not sure the right way, reach out to Coach Erue because he will work with you. He understands the concept of how to, let's say you mentioned earlier, even create a logo that represents who you are, a brand that represents who you are, so that you cannot, it's not just posting videos for the sake of posting video, but each post you make is connected to who you are authentically. So that when people see it, they can say, oh yeah, it's connected with it. Now, when you do that though, do you recommend, they tag you, say, video made or edited or shot by, Coach Erue and his company, or do they just take the ownership on their own? Like, where does that line falls?
When I used to, initially, I used to run it under a different name called Game Shooter Sport, and I was very forward with that name and brand. But now, like, as I've gotten into like my third generation of teams I've coached, it's not really my thing to be in the front. Like,
okay,
people refer myself and Coach Chris Campbell for things. They know us. Like, people know, hey, ask those guys. They know. Like, we have a good energy within the community. So it's not really so much I'm putting my stuff out there to compete with the. It's really a youth market. I don't want to really get in their way. Like, it's a beautiful thing where guys buy a camera. I see them there. I'm coaching. I'm like, yeah, do your thing, because every time, every generation, every 2 years, the art changes the way that they do it.
Yep.
Right. So and that's what it is. But I definitely encourage, advise, and then I'll be the more concrete thing that's just there. I'll post it. I'll retweet your stuff. I don't care who you are, as long as you're a young man or woman trying to further the game or further yourself. Like, that's mainly it. Because I'll give you an example. I've done a lot of logos for teams, but people don't know that. And people like those people's logos, but like, I'll still get referral in business because they tell good people too, right? That's fine. It's not really. My goal is really with this thing is to make basketball look better. Like, you know what I mean? I played, like I said, hockey. Youth hockey in Canada is very organized, very shiny, very pretty. Basketball at first wasn't like that, so like I just do my part within that scope to make that happen.
Okay. Now back to the logo, because I'm just fascinated by when you were mentioning all the various teams that you helped create their logo for. When someone reaches out to you, like I said earlier, what are some of the key things that you look for to be able to understand where their concept is coming from, to be able to say, okay, based on your business model of what you're trying to do, this is what we can do and come with, especially in selecting color, whether it be an animal or a font or any of that things. Like, take me through the steps that you do, because for those who are interested, that say, I'm training somebody in my backyard, I eventually want to turn into a business, but I don't know how to go about it. I want to reach out to you. What are some of the basic things that you look for to say if we need to move forward or not?
So what I do is I just do research into the category they're in. So if it's a trainer, we'll look at other trainer logos. We'll look at like 50 of them. I'll do research prior after talking to you and then say, hey, look, this is where everyone's at with it. Is there anything within this scope that you like? Because you're gonna have different letters in them. You're gonna have different colors you like and a different emphasis. But I need to know where your head is at and what appeals to you. Okay. The first thing I always ask, who do you want to look like? And then I'll find out if you've done any research or if you're even like on page 1 of this project you're on. Like, if you don't know who you want to look like, then I'm like, oh, okay, like we need to figure that out. Okay. Or what you like. I wouldn't even say who you want to like. What do you like and that you see? Then we'll build out from there, and we'll make something unique based on the key elements that you like. That's how I do it.
Okay.
There's lots of logos that people like. The Knicks, there's about 70 Knicks logos, but we can change a lot and make it yours. Not an issue. Now you come up professional and you look good and recognizable, and then people respect your business a little more, right?
Yeah. And I was thinking about that because, for instance, there's an NBA Films video going on with how the Raptors logo came about, right? The person that drew the dinosaurs, whichever, the T-Rex, and the concept of adding the ball to it and everything. And I was thinking, like, I would have thought maybe they had it holding like a dinosaur egg or something, but they had to turn into a basketball. So they're trying to bring an image as to the city and being the first time here in Canada. And when I watched highlights of it, I thought that is a great way to combine skills in addition to the sports, because many of the athletes play, but I think a lot also have additional skills out there that they haven't probably tapped on, or they're not sure how to tap on it. And that's why I wanted to bring you on, because digital and social media is one part of it. Like, you don't have to be the main person playing the game. You could be playing and also having additional skills with it. And you said you're coaching. So if a parent reach out to you and say, Coach Erue, you know, we have a game coming in. I want to say battery data on my phone. But I bought this camera. Or what would you recommend this type of camera to buy so I can record and get the best quality? Do you provide that kind of service or support as well too?
Yeah, definitely. Any like open book wise, any question someone would have, I would find an answer or give them my own and tell them what I have, or you know what quality to shoot in to get more games. Because a lot of people shoot in the highest quality on the camera, but if you do that, you get less of a run. Like there's little things you'll figure out on your own, but I'll tell you, like, hey, like don't shoot it in, you know, highest 1080p, maybe 720p. It'll give you more length of data, like you said, on your SD card, so you can get more games in as opposed to less. Yeah. And you know, those kind of things matter when you're shooting a game. Where you stand or where you sit, get the right tripod, be comfortable too. I've seen people film stuff on like a tablet and they're going like this. Like that can't be enjoyable because you're watching the game through the screen. Whereas if you're like this, you're like, you know, you're still getting a view of live action.
Okay, because I'm one of those. I have to find a way to just angle it so I can still watch live and still get the recording done. Okay. So the angle of it. Oh, Unity Sports says hello. Hi, Ray.
So yeah, those are the things I would advise on. You know, iPhones work, but there's now tripods for your iPhone. There's tons of things to make you comfortable that a parent could, you know, use it as such, or you know what I mean? And like that's the main thing, right? But it's in organization sense, it's good to have one parent a game do it that's different because everybody wants to enjoy the thing, right? They don't want to.
Yes, we do. Yes.
You don't want to be.
And honestly, if I'm recording, I have to be quiet because otherwise all you hear is my voice screaming and yelling. So that's one way of it. Are there any specific type of recording thing that you, like in terms of a company that you will recommend for anybody starting? Like, you know, it's not fancy, but it's a simple thing, like you say in tripod, but is there a particular one that you find it's easier, movable? Because let's say you're in a certain tournament, you're there all day, battery life, all of that. Those are basic things I think some people need to think of when you especially want to capture all games from beginning to the end.
Yeah, the one, like, I have like the single one. I have all of them actually, so that's just me. I have the one that's just a hole that goes up to 6 feet where you just stand and you turn and you pivot. That's a good one for that and everybody else that's taller and doesn't want to like bend. And you just, it's a simple situation where you're like this, you just turn and it's at your height. So I would suggest that. And it just looks like a stick and then it goes down to like this big and you could carry it in a pouch and they give you a pouch for it. Like, the single is good, and then the tripod if you're in a gym where you have space, like, you know what I mean, you're less intrusive. So those are the things I would suggest for comfort because you're filming an entire game for an hour. So like
exactly, and we need to see. And as Ray said, Monopod is awesome, so that's good to know. I don't even know what that is, but now I'm learning.
Mono is just the one level. You see watch NFL, those big cameramen, they have the monopod because you could just run too. You just pick it up, you run. It's not like the tripod where you're
like the one that they have is strapped to their body.
No, that one's strapped. That's different. The monopod is just a single stick that goes straight up. But if you had to run, the thing's screwed on, you just move. The tripod, you literally have to, like, if they have a handle, you got to pick it up. It's a little more delicate, right? So those are little things. Cameraman tricks.
Okay. Yeah. So especially if you're trying to, you know, capture all aspects of the game because your goal is to share it and get, let's say, parents or family members who are outside your surroundings be able to watch it. You want to capture all of it in terms of 360 view of it. So that's good to know the different aspects of the equipment that goes in and getting the right shot and the right video to go. With all that you've done, all the various teams that you've supported, I noticed that you also make flyers, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Take me through the flyer concept aspect of it, because a certain promotional event may have so many dates, so many timelines, so many locations, contact, and things like that. what are some of the things you look for to make sure you would capture everything in there so that it's easy on the eye and quick to see?
So now, yeah, what you find with flyers and guys who do tournaments is that they want to put everything on one sheet of paper.
Okay.
Doesn't often work. So now I've gotten to a process where we'll do a 3-page flyer or a video flyer because it's easier to do an MP4 that explains what's going on within 10 or 15 seconds that people can digest, and it's another form of media. And then it gets all their information across, and then do just a details flyer like register, da da da, because that actually is easier for people to digest overall.
Yeah.
And then the other part of it is I'm trying to advise a lot of guys to do like a campaign for your tournament. It's not just one flyer. I put out a flyer that's like very, very traditional, very like, low level that we still try to do that. Here's a flyer. It's not a party as much as people have to register and know more. There's locations.
Yeah.
You can't fit that all in just one little thing in a visual sense. So I like to separate it so I could get creative and look good and people remember it. That's kind of the strategy,
Okay. And that you need to say you can also do flyer with the QR codes, which
100%.
is great. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
QR
You'd like to
code is
elaborate
good.
more on that? Because QR code is a thing now, even to check COVID passport and all of that stuff. So how does that work?
So yeah, what you could do, you go on Google. There's a lot of custom QR code creators. You can link a QR code to any image or website. A QR code can just be a gateway in to then go further to a visual. And then you could park it on a website. Your QR code can lead to a one-page website or two. That will be your flyer, which is digital. But that's like what he mentioned is like higher level than some people want to go. Like I could tell a guy who already makes money in his tournament that he should go that route. He's still going to go traditional because it's not broken. Right?
Yeah.
And
that's where comfortability is too, right?
Yeah, you're comfortable. Like I don't need to go that far because, hey, I already get 84 teams. Like it's hard to convince someone the wheel is broken or this is the better wheel. Like so, I tend to do what people want. Like I'm easygoing. Like I'll give you advice based on what you need. But like if you really want something, like from my background, I'm an IT person in background. I give you the solution that you asked for.
Okay.
And I'll give you high end, low end, middle. You're gonna pick what you want. It's still gonna be functional. It'll work. But yeah, QR code is the way to go. Because even the QR codes, I'll give you an example. The QR code apps will track how many times it's been open and tell you and where they were.
Oh, there's a trackability to it.
Okay. Big time trackability. Yeah. And a lot of them that's free. A lot of that is free information.
So this is good for those, I guess, individuals or business owners who are really looking to see if their content is being used or being responded and track down to see how many open it, where they open it from, I guess how often they looked at it.
Type of device, everything gives you a lot. Time of day, the whole nine. Yeah, so so if you want to have an indication whether your tournament's gonna flop or marketing's working, put it out and see if anybody really hit on the QR and see that gives you a little sense, right? So it's pretty good.
Yeah. I like that. That's good to know. See, this is why I do this, because there's always something to learn. And it's not just playing sports. I mean, it is a business, but like I said, there's so many talents out there than just coaching or training or being the athlete. And there's so many skills everybody has that you can encompass in there. And I said, in addition to you coaching, you also have this service and you're providing this knowledge in there to anybody that's interested in learning. And you do that for anyone that's reaching, especially when they're just starting out, to find out where their visual is and you bring it out to them. And based on all the various posters or the flyers that I've seen, I see what you mean by it, because when I see it, it's easy on the eye, it's straight to the point, and I know who to contact, when to contact, how to update my calendar to make sure, especially during the tryout seasons. Now take me to the tryout seasons. How was it? Like, what were some of the promotions that you were involved with that, helped with that season explode the way it was? Because we were locked down for so long. When everything opened, there was like 1 week and at least 4 or 5 different tryouts at various.
So so tryout season was a little hectic because of the rules and numbers that are allowed to be in gyms. So a lot of guys I made flyers for. Sometimes the tryouts got changed, what have you, but it was a bit of a rush to get communications out.
Okay.
Um, I've been working more on like a lot of leagues are looking at things. Um, we need to know where we're playing, what we're doing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and
Mm-hmm.
also a part of it. We did our tryouts pretty late in terms of the number of teams and guys we got. So every team is different based on like the gravity of the players they have. And remember, a lot of people kind of disconnected from basketball too. So tryout season
Yes.
was a little different before. So yeah,
Yeah.
like really of interest there. But leagues are what I'm focused on. We have an event coming up. Black History Month is in February, so we're pushing things so much earlier than ever
Mm-hmm.
before
Yeah.
because you have to really grab everybody's attention. Because at the moment, trials were key. Now events are key. Weekends are key.
Yes.
We
Yes.
only have so many
Yes.
weekends to work with in a short time. Summer,
Yep.
right?
I already counted how many per weekend in each month, and have 5 weekends in October, 4 in November, then Christmas a little bit short in December. So it kind of crunches down. I think it's good that you're thinking of it that way, because especially from parents' perspective, even if you have one or two kids, I mean, you have a life, so you need to understand which weekend, where you're at, which tournament you're going to be at, which training you're going to be at. And these flyers, and honestly, when I see them, it's straight to the point where you can map out your month or your day or your week. So for those that that have commissioned you to do it, and I've seen them, like, great work on that, because there's nothing else left to contact and say, hello, can you give me more info? But I did also notice that some of the flyers have that QR code on there, especially with accessing the facility when you go in. Is that something
Right.
that you see growing more, especially as lineups are going to be happening before you get into a facility? In
Yeah.
terms of, I get there, I have the flyer digitally, and I scan it, and then it gives me access to give you my health check,
Yeah,
let's say.
health check. Yeah, you could pre-register, pre do your thing as that you're already kind of clear. That's going to be a big deal. Like I haven't encountered it yet because our group hasn't been doing that much winters yet.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, like we're not in NPH, and like it depends on if you're actively right now playing. Like some
Yeah.
people are still waiting for OBA. They're waiting for things to go. People haven't got their uniforms yet. I'll be
No,
honest.
no,
So
it's
like
true.
yeah, there's a lot that's going on that we're all behind in because we don't know how many kids we got, who's vaccinated, who's not. Did you have to be under what age? Like it's all still
It's
questionable.
overwhelming. Yeah. Yeah. But I, based on what has come out, though, I think it's been a pretty good turnout. The need and the interest is there. Parents are, pushing to get the kids moving, because we got tired of just chilling on the couch for a while, right? You want to get back to the things that we love to do, which is, whether it be traveling or going to games, recording and viewing it. Now, record it, they can post it on, let's say, YouTube. What if that particular account is private? Like, do you recommend it to be a public YouTube account to be
Yeah,
able to view, or can they make it private and just give the link specifically to certain people?
again, depends on your goal. If you're just trying to give it to a certain group of parents, then that's what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But really, if it's just a game tape, it should be public. Like it's something you want shared, you want people to see, unless again, if you're keeping it for competitive sake, that's up to you, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, mostly all of ours are public because watch your best game whenever you feel like it. Like you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I still have the post of my grade 8 team my son played on winning OBAs. It's still up there. There's all their games from
It's
that. You know
out
what I
there.
mean? And we use it as a reference tool to show kids of the same age years later, this is how good you can be, or
Yep.
this is what a team looks like that I'm teaching you this now. It's
Mm-hmm.
possible for you at this age to learn this because these guys the same age learn this thing you're struggling with, like, and they can like kind of figure out where to be. So you can use all that as a learning tool. So it's good to see.
And do you also do that with the actual trainers? Because, trainers sometimes do one-on-one, but they may want to post a video of themselves doing it and teaching it out to the wider audience? Do you provide that service or guidance in saying, you know, if you're going to record yourself, do it in this way and then post it so that it sort of increase your eligibility or your, you know, how, as to who you are so that people can come in and reach out to you and watch? Because if somebody posts on Instagram, you know, 15 seconds of them dribbling the ball saying I'm a coach, it's kind of a little iffy, right? But if I can see a little bit length video of themselves doing the skills and providing a little bit more detail to it, that makes me more trusting. So, okay, I may want to reach out to you and say, can you do this with my child? Do you provide that support to those individuals that need that guidance?
Yeah. So if a trainer reaches out to me, I work with a lot of trainers before. Yeah, if they reach out to me, I definitely go in and talk to them and see what they do and recommend guys I know who are good. Especially the young guys, a lot of good young trainers like Think Different is a good young trainer. He used to play for Motion 2.
Okay.
And I did his logo. I'm mentioning him only because I did his logo and I've recommended him. And he's done a lot of video. His media has gone way up. And you can see from his posts and what he does that he's gravitated up the ladder in terms of just presenting himself, right? So, and that's kind of what you want to do, like in terms of just introducing yourself and the drills you do. And for parents looking for a trainer, watch the videos and see what he's training. Like, not because any of them are bad. Some are good at other things. Some guys are wicked shooting coaches, and some guys are really good at dribbling and ball handling and guard skills. Like, you know, check out who he's working with, and like you can do your research there and say, yeah, I want this guy to work with my son or daughter. Perfect.
Yeah.
You know, without.
Yep. And I think it's great to know because it tells, I guess, their tone, their delivery, their movement, what they specialize in will let you know if that's what that's the level of training you want to give to your child, or if you're the athlete, that's the level of training that you want to do. Throwing it back to the flyer and events and everything else that's happened and about to happen. What are some of the promotional events that you've been part of that's like your proudest moments? Because a lot of different, you know, coaches and trainers like Coach Natty came on, you know, saying go to you and everything. So I can see you've worked with a lot of people within the industry. What are some of your proudest ones that you've worked on? Care to elaborate? And, you know, this is your platform to share.
Okay, yeah. So I've been working with